This video was made, created by me ZS0020 Prime, leader of the Defenders and master of the Skybase. I am also known as ZS Prime, ZS0020 Prime, and Sylveon Prime, and nobody has any permission to use this video without my permission or authorization. This music was made, created by me ZS0020 Prime, leader of the Defenders and master of the Skybase. I am also known as ZS Prime, ZS0020 Prime, and Sylveon Prime. And nobody has any permission to use this music without my permission or authorization.
Not again. Got my wires tangled up. There we go. Close. For Pete's sake. There. Okay. Is this thing recording? Okay, good. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today it's gonna be kind of like real thing update, like things going on in my life update video. So it's gonna be kind of like just like a whatever video, whatever you want to call it, like things in my life / update video, whatever the heck you want to call it. What was I going to say? So there's a few things coming up. So if you notice me not uploading much, that's because there's a few things that are going on that may or may not prevent me from uploading, depending on how I feel, because there's a surgery coming up in my life. I believe it's called gastric sleeve surgery. Basically the way they explain it is they're going to put like a gastric sleeve on my stomach to shrink it down, so that way it helps me lose weight, and it helps me lose weight, and it'll help with my diabetes problem, because weight does play into a factor when it comes to the diabetes. And also let me do a bit of a recap, because I believe I mentioned something about this in one of my previous videos. I've been mentioning it off and on, but I'll do a bit of a recap here. Basically, this whole shebang started like months ago, and I mean months ago in last year. This was when I still used to work, because of this, and also because of my back issues, I actually had to resign from work because of my back. I couldn't perform the back issue. That's a whole separate thing. That's 2 herniated discs that happened over time from physical labor. It's kind of one of the downsides of having a physical labor job, is your back will get worn out eventually, because the human body has its limitations. Nothing in life is infinite. So that's a whole separate issue. But with the gastric thing, what happened was, a while back, one day I woke up in excruciating, and I mean excruciating, agonizing, gut-wrenching pain in like this side. I know the camera is doing like a mirror thing, so it probably looks like a different side. I'm not sure if this is the left or the right, because the camera confuses me. It mirrors. Basically, if I point one way, it looks like I'm pointing the other way, and vice versa. Basically, on this side of my, stomach area, it was like excruciating, and I mean, like really bad pain. Like, I was about really close to straight up calling an ambulance that day. Unfortunately, I didn't have the luxury to do so, because here in the United States of America, in California, where I am, an ambulance ride will cost you about $5,000, give or take. And in some cases, insurance won't cover it, and it's a big old bloody mess. So, on that particular day, instead of instead of getting a $5,000 bill, I had no choice, but I had to take Uber to the hospital because urgent care won't do anything with this. You actually have to go to a hospital. I went to the local hospital, and oh boy, that was the worst experience that I had because those idiots literally had me sitting there for hours in agonizing pain. Yeah, they gave me some morphine, but after the morphine ran out, the pain came back in spades, and they had me sitting there for hours. And I mean for hours. Because they had to do a whole bunch of tests and a whole bunch of scans to figure out what the heck was wrong with me. After agonizing, I believe I spent like 3 or 4 hours. I wasn't really able to count because I was in excruciating, agonizing pain, and also for some reason I started also throwing up because of it. I don't know why. I started throwing up, but I started throwing up because of it. And so, long story short, after they did a test and they did like a scan of my body, the doctor comes out and tells me, that apparently I have stones in my gallbladder, and that's what was causing the pain. And they couldn't operate right away because because the situation wasn't like life and death, so they couldn't like operate right away. But they said that I would have to, eventually, go to the doctor and, get my gallbladder removed or figure out what's going on. So, what happened was, long story short, they gave me a bunch of pain pills and sent me home. A few hours later, a few excruciating hours later, after I Ubered back home, the pain eventually just went away. So then we decided to go to, I believe it's called a gastroenterologist. I decided to go to that doctor, and after doing like a full examination, and since my gallbladder wasn't bothering me anymore at the time, the stones are still there. It's just the pain went away for now. It still comes up once in a while, but it's not as severe as it was that particular day. But under the suggestion of that doctor, because of my weight problems and my diabetes, and because it's difficult for me to lose weight, because it's easy to gain it, but it's very difficult to lose it, and more importantly, to keep it off. So, under the suggestion of the doctor, that doctor referred me to another doctor, to a surgeon, and me and my mom discussed all the information on the surgeon, and under the suggestion of the gastroenterologist, she suggested that I do what is called a gastric sleeve. Basically, it'll shrink my stomach and it'll help me keep the weight down. And also, I also discussed the gallbladder situation with the doctor, and that particular doctor told me that if it starts bothering me again like it was that day, that I can go to that particular clinic, and I don't have to go to the local emergency room. I can go to that particular clinic and get it, and go for immediate surgery if it starts bothering me that badly again. If it starts like to the point where it's excruciating. But basically, the way he explained it is he's not going to be able to do both surgeries at once. Like he's not going to be able to do the gastric sleeve surgery, and the gallbladder remover at once, because if complications happens, he's not going to know from what the complication is. So the way he explained it to me is we're basically going to do it in steps, like one thing at a time. Basically, the gallbladder thing, that's going to happen secondary. However, if it does start, bothering me severely, like the doctor told me, he said that I can contact him and go to that clinic and get, like, emergency surgery done to remove it if it starts really, really, really hurting again like it was, because, I do not want to go through that pain again. And at least now I don't have to go to a local ER. I can go to that particular clinic. So what we did is we decided to go with the gastric sleeve surgery, and the first steps has already been completed. Well, there was a few steps here. The first step was I had to get a dietitian, basically a guy who can tell me, what I can eat, what I can't eat, because doing a gastric sleeve is a life-changing surgery. It means basically, basically, I have to basically completely change my diet and also portion controlling, because once the surgery is complete, I won't be able to eat as much as I used to. So after we got me and my mom was helping with this because all this was confusing as heck to me. I had my mom and I also had my other ILS worker person that helps me. They were also helping me with this. So I have like a team of people who are helping with this along with my doctors, because I can only because my brain was stretched and I'm still kind of all nervous about the whole process. So what happened was I went to the first I had to do I got I got the dietitian, and then I had to do a blood test, a whole bunch of other stuff, and also they put me like a weight monitoring thing, basically to make sure that I, because the way the surgeon explained it to me and my mom, is the more weight I lose, the better the better it would be for me, and the less chances of potential complications. So, long story short, after going through a bunch of that, I did lose weight. I was, I believe, like 330, and now I went down all the way to like 306, something like that. So I did lose weight, and also at this point, I've actually kind of rewired my body and rewired my stomach. Basically, at this point, even if I want to, I can't eat a lot because my stomach literally stops me at this point. The sleeve is basically going to be there to help me stay on top of it. So basically, the point that I am at now, because it's been like after months, after completing all of that stuff and after completing a bunch of weight check-ins, because they had me doing weight check-ins to track my progress. After doing all of that, basically, then it came time to schedule the appointment. I scheduled the appointment like a long time ago. So basically what's gonna be happening, the surgery is coming up very soon. Basically, it's gonna be like, first they're going to do like, first the way the lady explained it to me on the phone, because I got a call from them like a few weeks ago. Uh, Basically, tomorrow on Monday they're going to do like a phone consultation to kind of get everything ready, and then the next day it's gonna be a pre-op appointment. Basically, they're gonna give me instructions and stuff, because the way they explained it to me is basically the day of the surgery, my stomach is gonna have to be completely empty. So there's most likely they're probably gonna give me like some pills or something to completely empty me out. And then basically the day of the surgery, basically this whole thing is making me nervous. I would be lying to you people if I said I wasn't nervous. Yes, I am nervous because I've never had this kind of surgery before. The only surgery I've ever had in my life was one surgery on my private parts when I was little, because something about my private parts not properly descending, and they had to fix that. And back then they didn't really put me on anesthetic, because on full anesthesia. Uh, I was young. They had me drink some sort of like liquid to put me to sleep, and then I just remember waking up with stitches in my private area. And then the other operation that I had was on my hand, because I ended up developing a trigger finger and carpal tunnel on my hand. So the hand surgeon, basically, I wasn't completely knocked out. They numbed like my hand area, because I remember the size of the needle was like this yay big, and they numbed my hand, and basically they operated on my hand, and then the other two like medical procedures I had was with my back, and I had like several epidermals with my back. Basically, they numb you and then they stick like a needle in your back to inject you with epidermal stuff. Which the I did like I believe either 2 or 3 of them. I don't remember. All I know is the last one had literally no effect on me, and basically with the back situation, it's at the point that the doctor has done everything they can possibly do. All they can do is give me pain pills for my back. So I basically just have to deal with it, and pretty much I'm walking because of my back situation. One, I had to like as I said, I had to resign my job. Two, I'm basically walking with a cane. Like I can walk like short distances, like to get up and go to the bathroom, etc., etc. But if I have to like go out and about, I basically have to use my cane. So basically, that's with the back situation. Now back to the gastric sleeve situation. So basically, after the pre-op appointment, the day of the operation, first of all, it's going to be very early in the morning because that's what they said. They do these operations, the gastric sleeve operation, very early in the morning. And the other bugaboo, I should say, is according to what they told me, and I'll find out more information on Tuesday when my pre-op appointment is. What they told me is most likely I'll have to spend an entire day in the freaking hospital. I'll try to ask the doctor to see if there's a possibility of being released the same day, because if it can be avoided, I really don't want to spend the whole freaking the whole. I don't want to spend an entire night an entire night or 24 hours in the freaking hospital, because I've never had to do that before, and I don't want to. I really don't want to have to do that. And also, the other thing is my cat Luna. I've never left him by himself for 24 hours. I've left him for like a few hours here and there when I go out and about, but never for never for like a full day or a full night. So I have no idea how my cat's gonna react. I do have my family members who will take care, who will pop in, because my mom has the keys to my apartment and my dad has the keys, so they'll pop in and they'll make sure that Luna has water and food and all that other stuff, and to also make sure he doesn't essentially wreck the place or hurt himself. But mostly Luna, if I'm not here, he mostly sleeps, so we'll see what happens there. After the surgery, pretty much that's when the healing process is gonna happen. Basically, after the surgery, I'll be basically on a liquid diet for several weeks, because the stuff inside is gonna have to heal up, because the way they explain it is, it's not going to be like a traditional surgery where they cut you open. It's going to be a robotic surgery. Basically, they're going to have like a robot thing that goes through the belly button. That's how they explained it to me. So it's going to be that. I guess it's less invasive than completely cutting the person open. So that's that, and pretty much if I do make an update, if I remember to, I don't know when that's gonna happen, because I have no idea what kind of state I'll be in after. Like, probably when I come back, I'll probably be completely and totally zoinked out, because they're probably gonna have me like on pain pills and stuff, and I don't mean like regular pain pills. I mean like the good stuff, the stuff that'll knock you out. The stuff that you can't get without a prescription. That's what kind of pain pills. Because I straight up told them when this whole thing started, I'm like, as soon as you operate on me, I'm like, give me the gas, give me the good stuff. I don't even want to know that. I don't even want to feel anything. I just want to, basically, I pretty much want to be knocked out in La La Land. And with this procedure, there was also before, also I also had to do what they called a psych evaluation, because they had to basically make sure I was mentally prepared for this whole situation, and they had to make sure that I was fully aware that this is a life-changing operation. This isn't like a simple thing like fixing a hand or fixing something. This is a life-changing thing. So I had to do that before as well, in preparation. So basically, all the preparation stuff is done. Basically, I'm on the final stage, where tomorrow will be the phone consultation. They'll be giving me further instructions, and also they'll be probably giving me like anesthesia instructions, because with this particular procedure, they'll be giving me full anesthesia. So basically, I'll be getting the IV and possibly the gas. So I'll be pretty much knocked out. So it's gonna be one of those things. So pretty much there you have it. That's what happens. That's what's going to be happening. So if I don't make videos for a little while, you know what's going on. I'm basically, I'll be recovering from the surgery. If I have the strength for it, and if I'm not completely totally zoinked out after the surgery, like maybe a couple days after or something like that, depending on how I feel, because I have no idea how the healing process is going to go, because I've never been through this kind of procedure before. And I don't think any of my family members have been through this kind of procedure before either. So it's basically a new thing that I'm going to have to figure out. But after that, they said that basically I'm gonna be monitoring what's going on. They're gonna be keeping an eye to make sure that it's successful. So that's pretty much what's gonna be happening. Basically, tomorrow is gonna be phone consultation for me for preparation for this gastric sleeve surgery, and then on Tuesday it's gonna be the pre-op appointment. Basically, they're going to be giving me final instructions and final procedures, etc., etc. And then a few weeks later, that's going to be the day of the actual surgery. And for both, my mom is going to be involved, because I can't remember everything by myself. So I have developmental disabilities. I can't remember. I'm developmentally disabled, so I can't really handle. Basically, I get very overloaded if there's too much happening, or if there's too much information. So my mom will be there to help me, and day of the surgery, my mom will be there to help me as well, because I'm gonna have to figure out. So after the pre-op appointment, I'll probably know more of exactly what's going to happen. So if I remember, I'll probably make an update video after my pre-op appointment, and then after the actual surgery, if I remember, and if I have the strength to do so, I'll eventually make an update video on my progress, etc., etc. So pretty much that's basically what's going to be happening. Basically, how should I phrase it? Basically, I'm going to be starting. Yeah, you can basically say it this way. I'm going to be starting a new chapter in my life, you could say. Because technically, it is a life-changing procedure. And hopefully this procedure helps me, because I have been doing good keeping off the weight, but it's very difficult to keep it off, and it's very difficult to lose it. It's easy to gain it, but it's hard to lose it. So this will probably help. And then later on, the surgeon did say that later in the future, because the gallbladder, that will have to be removed, because the stone is too big to be dissolved. So eventually in the future, after this whole procedure, and after I've fully recovered and healed, in the future, they're probably going to have to schedule me to get my actual gallbladder removed. Because there are stones in there, and I'm not sure how they're basically too big to be naturally to be dissolved. So it has to, so the whole thing has to basically go. So, but as the doctor did say, that if it does, basically I probably won't feel a thing while I'm recovering because I'll be hyped up on pain pills. But I'll be hyped up on pain pills so that way I can heal without being in excruciating pain, because the healing process is where basically the next. Basically, it's a process. It's not a instantaneous process. It's gonna take time. So I'm basically going to be taking it one step at a time. And they did give me, like, in this folder here, a whole packet of information, because YouTube videos, they're fine, but but not every situation is a cookie cutter situation. Each individual person's situation is going to be different. So that's going to be that. And also, I do have a endocrinologist that's been monitoring my diabetes and stuff like that. And she said she'll also be keeping a close eye on what's going on with all of that after the surgery, because because I really don't, I've never been through, like I said, I've never been through this particular procedure, so I have no idea what's gonna happen. I have no idea how my diabetes is gonna respond, or how my body's gonna respond afterwards. So, like I've said, I just have to take this one step at a time and day by day. So, right now I'm basically on the stage, I'm basically on the final preparation stage. I have the phone consultation and then the pre-op appointment. And then after that, I think after a couple of weeks, it'll be the actual day of the surgery. So basically, pretty much there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So if I don't, like, make videos for a while, you know what's happening. And yes, I will try to see if I can have my phone in the hospitals, because if I do have to stay there for a whole day, I'm gonna need something to do. Otherwise, my mind is gonna, basically, I'm gonna go insane, because I have ADHD. I can't sit still in one place and do nothing for a long period of time. My brain would literally drive me insane. But anywho, ladies and gentlemen, this was basically like a short this is basically like an update of what's happening, and basically an update of what's going on with my surgery and my gallbladder stuff. So, anywho, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to conclude this video for now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in my next video, whenever it is and whatever it is. Have a good day and or night, everybody. Bye.